Hi, I'm Captain Larry Bell with Texas Fishing Tips. This is your weekly fishing report.
Carlos Bay, all the shoreline right in here. Find your grass line. Find your bait working along this grass line. Throw your top water baits. Throw your down south lure, darker version if that's what you like. All this area here is holding some really quality trout in here. These are all 17 to 19 inch fish that are hanging. There's a bunch of little ones as well. You'll have to go through those as well, but there is some good trout that are hanging in this area. Along Rattlesnake Island here, up here in Ayers Bay. Now, one thing you have to remember here, we've had this cold front come in here on us. Winds change, it's coming out of the north. Our weekend shapes up really well. It's going to change your fishing just a little bit on how you approach this area. Look for your fish be a little bit deeper early, and then look for them up in the shallows later. Again, look for your bait working, look for your grass line, look over your shell areas. Top water baits have been working well, double D's have worked well. Burner shads and marker 54 mullet run have worked really well, especially in this area for redfish. There's a lot of redfish that are hanging along here. They're running up and down that ICW. They come up here on this flat right here looking for something to eat. If you got your bait in the right place, working at the right time, maybe incorporating a major or a minor during that time frame, you can expect to have a pretty good day catching some redfish. Back here in St. Charles, right across from the boat ramp, all this area right along in here, little cove right here, back up this way as you go up toward Egg Point. All this area here, nice weightable bottom, good solid bottom here. There's a good grass line that's in there. There's a good amount of bait that's working in here. Double D's have worked really well for trout in this area. Your burner shads, Little John baits, the provokers, down south magic grass, salt sassy, even the white ice have worked real well. Supermodels, for that fact, for the down south lure, have worked real well for your redfish in this area here. So you have a big choice that you can go in there with as far as you can put in your arsenal to chunk in here. So you got, if something's not happening with that particular bait that you put on, move on to the next one. There's fish that are laying up in here. They're swimming up and down this. They're following the bait. You should have no problem finding your redfish up and down this shoreline here. Again, there's a bunch of water that's still in the system, so make sure you're aware of that, and you can fish in areas that normally you hadn't been able to because the water hasn't been that high, but for now it is. All right, all down in here across Spalding, all the way down the little corner down there. Work these little mouths of these back lakes that dump out into the Spalding area. Take your time working in here. Look for your bait working in here. Your down south lures, darker versions, have worked well in here. The regular size and the supermodel have worked really good in here. Double D's are starting to produce really well. Little Johns, the mirror lure baits, provokers, watermelon red specifically in those colors or in those baits have worked really well back in here. Just be patient with your fish. You're going to go through a lot of smaller trout. There's some good trout that are mixed in there with them. And there's some nice reds. They're not super big. You know, you're catching your lower slot reds in the 22 to 24, which is really nice box fish. So again, just be patient. Work this area here really well. You'll find the fish that you're wanting. All along this area here on Newcomb Point, we've got that front that's blown in here for the weekend. You got higher water that's in here right now. There's a good amount of bait that's working through this area here. Work your Little Johns and the provokers by mirror lure all through this area here. The marker 54 mullet run has worked really well in this area as well for redfish. Your down south lures, supermodel for trout. Again, you're going to have to work through some trout because there's a bunch of small ones in this system. You're going to catch a ton of them that are going to be that 13, 14, 14 and a half, 14, 3/4. Continue to catch them. Keep throwing them back in there. You'll be able to go through them and you'll find some nice trout that are mixed in there with them. May take you a little bit, but they're there. The redfish are tight as long as you got a lot of water in the system, which we do, and your trout are going to be holding off a little bit deeper water.
Thanks for watching. I'm Captain Larry Bell.